Well, right now, more than 500 people in Toronto are currently homeless and living outside right here at the corner of Queen and Victoria. You can see a makeshift camp set up behind me, and this has been growing over the last few weeks. If you ever take a walk or drive through the downtown core, you'll see that this is actually a common sight. The tragedy we saw this morning with a garbage truck running over someone asleep in a laneway highlights some of the harsh realities of life on our streets. Here's the story of one homeless couple who's desperate to find permanent housing.
Don't mind the mess, please. Don't mind the mess. But this is where me and my husband sleep.
Justine and her husband came here from Nova Scotia 3 years ago for a job that fell through. They've been on the streets ever since.
It's really, really stressful. The city doesn't want to help us. They don't want to build apartments for the homeless. They'd rather build it for other people, like newcomers. And don't get me wrong, newcomers are good. I'm happy that Canada is helping them, but they also need to focus on their own people as well.
Justine says their 1-year-old daughter is currently in foster care, and according to her sign, she's pregnant again. She tells City News shelter living is not for them.
Every time we go to a shelter, the cops get called because we end up getting into fights. Our things get stolen.
While the city has increased shelter space in response to a deadly year on our streets by opening 3 respite centers, the system is still operating at capacity, with very few spots available on any given night. Justine says the big battle they're in right now is for permanent, affordable housing.
I just want a place of my own so I can get my 1-year-old back.
Latest numbers from the City of Toronto show almost 9,000 people are currently homeless, a number that has skyrocketed because of a significant increase in refugees.
I think what's really important to realize, though, that even the best outreach in the world isn't going to help someone if there's no roof or no housing unit to offer a person.
Kira Heineck with the Toronto Alliance to End Homelessness tells me the shelter availability this year is better than last, but it's just a short-term fix. Those who have been homeless for 6 months or longer are the highest among the outdoor population. What are some of the biggest challenges outreach workers face when they're trying to, provide help for these people?
It's really finding a place for a person to live. It could be an apartment. It could be what we call supportive housing, which means housing with additional supports to help a person keep that housing and to stabilize and to get well. Or it could be just the income support.
This week, Toronto officials started handing out notices to all those living in tent cities and other makeshift structures, stating they must vacate within 14 days, despite the fact the shelter system is operating at 93% capacity.
The numbers are dire. It's a real crisis, and we have to continue to act.
Now, temperatures are expected to plummet in the coming days with some of the coldest air we've seen all winter so far to hit us on the weekend. This could trigger a cold weather alert, which means warming centers across the city would open up to give more people a place to go.